Hey guys, I've felt really bad because I haven't really done anything in a really long time because work sucks. Avoid work as long as you possibly can. Um, th- I've been looking at some YouTube poops, trying to immerse myself back into this, and I gotta say, impressed. It's funny because YouTube poop has always been something that's been resistant to high quality. It's something that has always been extremely grating and it kind of revels in its own disorganization and chaos. And one of the things that I've noticed is that the very quality, the clarity, the sound, it's improving just really, really quickly. I wish I could throw some examples out there, but it's really just been kind of across the line. I've been really surprised at the increasing coherence of narrative, the fact that it seems like stories are being told more coherently. Um, Sound quality is rising. Everything is just getting better. I was like watching these things and I was like, good God, this is better than television. It's more entertaining than television. It's more full than television. And it got me thinking, and I know, and you guys can make fun of me for this, it's not going to hurt my feelings, because I'm probably going to repeat myself a heck of a lot in this. It reminded me a lot of Click again, and I just wanted to give some final thoughts, and I'm going to try my hardest to, try to salvage some relevancy, but you guys are so ahead of me now that eh, just don't worry about me anymore. But I do have some interesting ideas, I think. Again, coming from Remix by Lessig. Basically, if you guys do get a hold of this book, the very beginning of it talks about John Philip Sousa. Yeah, I know, right? The guy who wrote Stars and Stripes Forever. What the heck does he have to do with YouTube poop? Well, quite a lot actually. When you started to have this mass media culture where these big media conglomerates were offering like lots and lots of cash for recordings of things, and this whole recording culture started to really gain traction. Sousa hated it. Hated it. He was terrified of it. And let me explain why. Before the media culture that we still, the media paradigm which exists today, what you had as far as entertainment and artistic expression was based primarily on the fact that common, ordinary people would take a song and through generations, that song or that poem or whatever it was would be modified for different cultures, for different groups. So you would have these kind of like folk poems turn into these folk songs, and depending on your geographic location, some of the lyrics would change, some of the music itself would change. You can actually track this. I believe John the Revelator is one of these that, depending on where you were, that song was different because as it was passed down, people modified it and changed it for their own needs. And that produced a lot of really cool artistic product. But it was all, not really recorded. It was people sang, people wrote, people would entertain, and this was just the way that it was done. And what Sousa was afraid of, and in a lot of cases he was correct. Bear with me, I promise this has something to do with YouTube poop. What he was afraid was going to happen was you were going to lose this participatory culture. And again, I know a lot of this is repeated, but I think it bears repeating that people were going to be divorced from the creation of art. They were going to be divorced from the creation of entertainment and media. They were going to be completely cut out. That's largely what's happened because you have this weird sort of I hate to say lottery system, but in a lot of ways that's what it is, that randomly selects these larger than life personalities, and everybody else is completely divorced from their ability to be seen and their ability to produce media, to produce culture. Now, the reason I've been thinking about all this is that in a lot of ways, I've really reflected heavily on the fact that, I've been here talking about, YouTube poop, it's going to be famous. YouTube poop, it's a high art form. Well, that has not been received very well. And at first I was like, what's wrong with you guys? Why aren't you open to YouTube poop being an avant-garde art movement or whatever? Why do you not want to be famous? Well, that's the nature of what you're doing. The media, the art you're producing, is, in its very nature, countercultural. And if you look around in studies of media and of art, one of the things that people talk about is editing. Editing is something that has been largely been out of the hands of the general population for a long time. I mean, we've never really had good, widespread knowledge of the ability to edit sound or edit video. And with the advent of YouTube, that changed. And these technologies have come along that a person can be sitting in their room at home and say, you know what? Yeah, I do want to take Mario CDI and make Luigi talk about spaghetti for 30 minutes straight. And I like that. And there's really something beautiful about that. And there's also something beautiful about the fact that you guys have kind of recognized, wait, this is a countercultural movement. This is something that is not supposed to be famous. And I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, holy crap, the fiercest critics of me, they're right. They're 100% right. I can't even argue with it because that's what's going on here. This is a transference away from the power of fame, from the power of that selection and that high artistic. You know, these are the gatekeepers of culture. I've talked about the gatekeepers of culture before. Called you guys the guardians of culture, the guardians of new culture, but in fact, it's a movement against that kind of effect. This is a release. This is a return to the public ability to take a piece of media and do something different with it. And I mean, I could even reflect a lot on the fact that, you know, a lot of these old folk art songs, they were lost forever. They didn't survive. There was this movement in, I believe, the 30s and the 40s that extended up through the 20th century where they were trying to record as much of this folk art as they could because it was dying out. The culture didn't support it. And even going back to the Spadinner stuff, the obscurity is part of the allure, is that this is something that no one else is aware of. This is ours. And it's a heavy, wonderful irony that what's being produced here is being taken, and I know you guys have kind of moved away from the Spadinner stuff. I'm really speaking out of turn here, so you feel free to beat the crap out of me on that because I deserve it. Because I am still talking about that heavily meme influenced YouTube poop. But the fact that you guys are building a lot of this material from sources that were themselves abandoned, that didn't have a lot of fame, that didn't really go anywhere. You see this, like, if you just to go back to the CDI stuff. What we have with these CDI videos is a pile of crap, just refuse, a complete waste of human effort. And then the YouTube poop community comes in and says, no, we're going to take this stuff and we're going to do something cool with it. We're going to change it. We're going to make all this crazy changed artistic stuff. We're going to reinfuse this kind of this general populist editing, this change. We're going to bring this back, and we're going to bring it from the roots of something that was itself obscure. And a lot of that could be, you know, it's convenient because it's not as chased down from copyright perspective. But it's also extremely cool that you're going back to these abandoned artistic products, and the obscurity is what fuels it. So I know, again, I'm just talking in circles here, but the attitude that I've seen, the negativity, the criticism, that's actually really good. That's an awareness of what you are, you know. It's getting back to the spirit of the thing. And if YouTube poop were to become this, you know, instantly recognizable mass pop cultural movement, it actually would detract from what it was, from what it is and what it could be. So think about this video as kind of a way for me to acknowledge the critics and to say, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong. It does go against the nature of what you guys do. And I think it's okay for individuals to pursue that fame and to pursue that recognition. But, I mean, it's part of the beauty of this thing is that obscurity from which it grew, that return to editing form, that return to the roots, the amateurism that Sousa was mourning in these hearings before Congress, when all this copyright stuff was coming down, when all this mass recording stuff was coming down, that we are selecting the winners. and we're obscuring the losers. And YouTube has, in a way, kind of regressed us back to a pure form of expression that isn't, selected, focused. These are the people who rock. We're turning them into gods. We're turning the Britney Spears, the Aerosmiths, the filmmakers. These people who are larger than life. Yeah, Spadinner, baby, Spadinner all the way. Thank you.